Metroid Prime is a game that required me to fight a giant plant and get my ass kicked multiple times for me to truly understand what I needed to do. I needed to A, read really closely and not just fly through the scanned content, because I would get the outcome of B, having a successful fight in a game where scanning and backtracking is truly everything. Now, is Metroid Prime the game that I have been waiting my entire life to play and enjoy and make me rethink my entire life choices? Well, I'm sorry to say that's a no. Is it enjoyable? Hell yes, it's absolutely enjoyable. But it's just not doing it for me. It just didn't do it. I can't really narrow it down to just one or two things, so what I'm going to do in this video on that game review show is I'm going to take a look at what it does really well and the things I think made it to where I couldn't enjoy the game as it truly should be enjoyed. Metroid Prime holds no real punches. It pretty much just drops you into the game saying, okay, so here's how you generally control yourself, here's how you scan things, and here's how you shoot. This is what you're going to need to play our game. Now go have fun, kiddo. And this is how it explains its tutorial. It's like 5 minutes of the very beginning, and the only reason it takes 5 minutes is you gotta get used to the control scheme, and as soon as you're used to it, you're off having a great time in this brown, gray mess. Now, when I say mess, I mean it in the nicest way possible, because this game does a phenomenal job at just opening itself up to you and telling you to go and explore, because it's going to, in a way, also tell you need to go back because you're going through the wrong path. It is very much a backtracking simulator for the greatest of people. It opens itself up and lets you go and explore, because at some point you're going to trudge back to where you need to go. And that's great. It makes it feel a lot more open and just accessible than you actually think it should be, but then it'll bring you back to where you need to be on the linear path. Now, is that a bad thing? Oh, of course not. It can be used to make great world building. You'll start grabbing bits and pieces of the lore as you go around scanning literally everything, and you'll just feel more engrossed because it's more like a puzzle at that point. You gotta put all the pieces together. But at the same time, it's just one of the more annoying factors of the game, where I've just walked down a place for 20 minutes, and then I've got to turn around and fight my way all the way back to where I'm supposed to be, because I went the wrong way. Granted, most times, they'll have a blocked door that you can't get through, so you won't go too far. But on the rare occasion you're able to go far enough, you're going to have to trudge back, look for another door, or look for another way, and go through it. It's great in that respect because it's just so nice and open, but it's also just a pain in my ass. The game itself offers you many ways to play it as well. You can play it with heavy emphasis on going and finding the lore and putting the story bits together and just making this amazing story fleshed out and make a lot of sense. Or you can just go through scanning the essential items that you're going to need to progress through the game and get to the end, which is the way I did end up playing it. You scan the enemies and you scan the essential bits to open elevators and stuff like that, and you're gonna have just a very simple and easy time. A game where you can really just kind of turn your brain off and walk around for a little while and just shoot things with an energy rifle cannon thing, which is great. That's absolutely fantastic. I need more of that in my life. But it's also just kind of boring after a while, because you do the same fights with the same enemies over and over and over again as you go through these winding corridors and stuff like that. And I just feel like there needs to be a little bit more variation, because you're in these locations for so long. But that's not the extent of the gameplay and combat. The greatest portion is truly going through a new battle with a new type of enemy or even a new boss, because those just open up and you've got to really pay attention. You've got to dodge, you've got to jump, you've got to scan, you've got to read thoroughly and make sure that you're doing exactly what it's saying to the letter, because it's telling you exactly how to beat this thing. And you gotta just make sure that you do it all correctly, and you're gonna beat it, and you're gonna feel great, and you're just gonna be able to walk through and feel triumphant as you keep knocking down these big bad bosses like a giant plant. I really don't like the plant. And making the lock-on mechanic just so easy by one grab of the trigger and you're locked on and you can jump around and still be mobile and able to fight without having to unlock and have the weird camera scenario going on, because this is before the really good cameras in first-person shooter games that we have today, which I am very spoiled from because I didn't really like the controls on this game, but I see it for how good it was. And it was so nice to be able to just lock on, jump around, scan the thing, make sure I read it correctly, and continue the fight. There are points where it's still really janky because you're trying to look up into the air and you've got to hold the lock on button and then aim your arm cannon up, and it's really slow and really tedious. But overall, it's a nice, solid control scheme that with time and practice you can master and perfect, which everybody likes to learn a new control scheme every now and again because we have so little variation these days. Oh, and James, real quick, let's have a real talk, just you and me. I'm not calling this game a first-person shooter because first-person shooters don't build story very well. They build some, but it's usually, hey, you're a military dude, welcome to the military, here's some bad guys, go shoot them and blow them up for me. Great, thanks, bye. Metroid doesn't do that, so I think it's more of an adventure game. I think it's more of a first-person adventure game with shooting elements, because you figure out the story for yourself if you want to, or you just run through the game shooting at everything as if it were a first-person shooter and miss out on essential, like, lore and, good times to be had with the game. Yeah, that's our real talk, James. So, don't just think because it's in the first person that makes it a shooter, motherfucker. While Metroid Prime may not be the game I longed for so long and wasn't able to even fully complete on this go-through, I gave myself extra time to do it as well, and I just couldn't stay invested. It doesn't mean it may not be for you, because I'm even excited to go back and try again at some point. Well, excited is a relative term for it. I want to go back and give them another chance when I've not just got so many other amazing games to play. Maybe over the summer I can give them another try and really enjoy them for what they're meant to be. But as of right now, it's not doing it for me, and I can't quite enjoy it enough. It's no fault of the games, it's the fault of me. So, if Matthew, I know you really enjoy Metroid and all the Metroid trilogy, I highly encourage you to tell me what you think. Explain to me why these games are amazing. Explain to us why the games are amazing, both 2 and 3. And if you want to do one again with James' level of quality, I'll highly encourage that too. So, it feels like a cop-out, but that's my honest-to-God review. And that's how I'm going to sleep well tonight. So I want to thank you guys for watching another video here on That Game Review Show. And when I see you guys next time, we're going to be talking about a very sweet, very simple little game. One that has just stolen my heart. And I can't wait to share it with you. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time.